Hello all, sentient beings, and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers Issue 20. Finally. Free Comic Book Day is coming up soon, and is Transformers Rescue Bots Academy getting a third season? Today is Friday, July 3rd, 2020, and this is episode 188 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's just trying to be useful the best way we can. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
How's everyone doing tonight? Let's talk Transformers.
All right, as always, we start off by thanking our Donatreons, those beautiful people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal to help keep the show going. Thank you. We are forever grateful and in your debt. And if you'd like to join the ranks of our Donatreons, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And there you can sign up either on Patreon or PayPal. You can also help us out by buying merchandise from our TeePublic store. That is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can also check out our friend K-Girl store at tpublic.com/user/superstark. Lots of shirts and masks for your wearable pleasure. And every little bit you buy helps us out. Even if you don't buy stuff from our store, if you go through our link and buy anything from TeePublic, that helps us. Some of the perks of being a Donatreon are getting extra content, and one of those is Yoshi's recent MST3K shows. So we're trying something new, and we're releasing this exclusively to our Donatreons, either on our Patreon feed or in our Dropbox link through PayPal. And Yoshi's been having fun doing some commentary on the episodes he can't be on. So take a listen to those and let us know what you think. And do you think this is something we should do more often? We need feedback to find out if listeners are really enjoying this. So send us your comments. I think by the time this show goes up, we should probably have the commentary that Yoshi did for episode 187 of Alt Mode. And that was where we had a pretty, I think a pretty substantial disagreement on Transformers versus the Terminator number 2. So I think you'll enjoy listening to Yoshi's response to our response to his review. So check that out. We've also got coming very soon next Monday, episode 27 of Empire of Rust. This episode is titled Rexcellent. And this will be out this Monday, July 6th. So check that out on the main Transmissions feed, or if you are subscribed directly to Empire of Rust, that's transmissionspodcast.com/rust. Rex is one of the main characters, the player characters in the Empire of Rust Transformers RPG campaign. So sounds like this is going to be a Rex heavy episode. And the last bit of news before we get on with the show is the extra that Jeremy and Daryl recorded just recently. So that came out last week. You can listen. What was this Transmissions extra all about this week?
This extra that we had, I basically had a question, and I knew that Jeremy was really a big, huge fan of DC Comics, and I was very curious as to what the hell they were doing. And we discussed that for about 7 hours. So it's a good extra. Goes on for
edited down to half an hour.
It's pretty good. I thought we covered a lot of really interesting ideas there, speculated on the future, and yeah, we had some fun kind of seeing what's going on and talking about our stores that we like to frequent and how they're seemingly handling the pandemic and now the DC shitstorm. So yeah, it was fun.
All right, check that out. That's also in the main Transmissions feed or at transmissionspodcast.com/extra. Okay, let's go on and start the show off with some comics news. So first up, so there isn't going to be, Free Comic Book Day, of course, didn't happen, but there was never announced a Transformers Free Comic Book this year. But Free Comic Book Day is going on, taking on a new form. We're all comic book fans, so it's something we look forward to every year, and we were sad when it was canceled back in May. But it lives on now as a series of events over the next few months. So starting July 15th all the way to September 9th, it looks like every week there will be a few free comics from Free Comic Book Day. So we'll link to the freecomicbookday.com, has all the information about which comics are coming out when. I think it's cool that they're still going forward with Free Comic Book Day and expanding it. I mean, it's taking all the comics that would have come out in one day and then just spreading them out throughout the whole summer. You can take that out. Take a look at those links there.
Yeah, I think it's making the best of a bad situation. I like that they have the dates here because I'm looking and there's like some really kid-friendly books coming out on a particular day. So I'm like, okay, well, that day I'm going to try to take my kid to the comic store and try to make something out of it.
I'm really glad that they're actually following through and doing this because the books were printed. They were paid for.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there taking up space. And there's a lot of them. There's always way more books printed for Free Comic Book Day than there are for any other, weekly comic book run. So they got to go. So people got to get them. And I'm glad that they're doing this. There's especially an important kind of emphasis put on this year's Spider-Man book that's coming out. Apparently it's got it's not just a reprint or some kind of BS story. It actually has, some actual information that's in it that's, pertaining to an ongoing storyline. So it actually means something. And that's always really cool to get, so you got to get the Free Comic Book Day book to actually, have it mean something for your reading. And that's fun. I always like getting the books that are kind of like fluff and always, reprints of something that's fun or, something that I can give to my daughter because, her collection is essentially just years of free comic books. So, but ones that are actually like meaningful and like, not just sit in a bin of free comic books, but will actually go into the regular rotation or the regular collection. Those are really cool books. So I'm excited about this.
There's one here that I'm sure you're going to like, and I don't know why the link didn't come through right, but the Tom
Jack
Scioli
Kirby?
has one. I'm sure you're going to love that.
I like Jack Kirby. I like Jack Kirby a lot. Tom Scioli, this is a real pull in two different directions.
I'm looking forward to the Horizon Zero Dawn comic because that's one of my favorite video games, and they just announced a sequel coming next year. So looking forward to this bridging the gap there.
Yeah,
so.
A lot of really cool stuff coming out.
All right, back to Transformers. We do have some cover images for upcoming issues. So Transformers Galaxies issue 7 should be out next week. And we've got covers, the first cover by Anna Malkova, and that's the retailer incentive cover. And then we've also got a cover by Alex Milne, and that's cover B. So you can take a look at those cover images. And this is the first issue starting the RC Greenlight Gauge saga. There are 3 issue story arc there, so looks cool. Galaxies is I think this is I hope this continues and that people are picking this up because I like this anthology format where you get 2 or 3 issues. Basically, 2 or 3 issue spotlights of characters every few months. So. We've also got issue 11 of Transformers Galaxies, and this is the second part of Brandon Easton's Ultra Magnus story. Alex Milne showed off some of the line art for that cover.
I have a question. Okay, I guess that's not Rotor
Okay.
Storm in the background. That is, what's his name? The one that you got, Daryl.
Spinister?
Spinister.
Which one are we looking at? The Ultra Magnus one?
Yeah, in the background there. I was like, oh, there's Rotor Storm with the other head. And I'm like, oh, wait, no. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it looks like Ultra Magnus, he's surrounded by Soundwave, Spinister, and some other folks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we got the lines by Alex Milne and the colors by Josh Perez there. So looks cool. All right, that's all the comics news. So let's move on to our comic review.
All right, and this week we are looking at Transformers number 20. This is written by Brian Ruckley, art by Anna Malkova, and her first full book with all of her art. Colors by Joanna LaFuente, letters by Jake M. Wood, editor David Marriott and Tom Waltz, assistant editor is Riley Farmer. So there are 3 covers. Cover A has a Nightbeat, Strongarm, and Bumper investigating as a mind wipe looms large behind them. This is by Ed Perry with colors by John Paul Beauvais. Cover B has Hound being very friendly, greeting some alien friends, and this is by Jack Lawrence and Josh Perez. And the retailer incentive has a Prowl and Nightbeat getting the drop on Swindle, and this is by Blackie Shepherd with Josh Burcham doing colors. So I think they're all pretty good this week. Daryl, which one do you like?
I mean, you're right. They're all really quite good. And so I had a bit of a toss-up. I do like Jack's quite a bit, but I really wanted to get cover A, Ed Perry's cover. It was really quite cool looking with the Autobots in the front foreground and the. I mean, I assumed it was Rat-Bat when I picked up the cover, but it's not. So it.
Yeah, I thought it was first, but I figured Mind Wipe is in the story, so it's got to be Mind Wipe.
It's got to be Mind Wipe, right? So it's a really cool cover, and that's the one that I bought, and I like that one the most out of the 3 anyway.
All right, Charles, how about you?
I am going to agree. Cover A with Nightbeat, Bumper, Strong Arm, and Mind Wipe, and yeah, it's cool to see another fan artist get professional work for Transformers. So Ed Peary has been a long time, artist in the fan community, and it's great to see him getting some official work. And this is a cool cover, and of course, John Paul Beauvais enhances it with his colors.
I'm probably gonna have to agree. Cover A, although I would like to say that the retailer incentive, I do like it, particularly the purpley tone. But I remember Mike Seibert had Blackie Shepherd on maybe a month or so ago, and he mentioned he had covers coming up, and that when he didn't have a reference, he just went by the latest toy, and you can kind of tell that was Swindle, very much Combiner Wars. So I don't know, that just kind of stuck out to me, but I like his stuff. He did some Voltron stuff a while back, and so hopefully we get more from him too. But yeah, this cover A, I think it's just, I don't know, the art and then the colors just add so much to it. All right, into the story. This is Rise of the Decepticon, Swindles. Prowl is watching a news feed about recent events when Nightbeat shows up to his quarters to check up on him. Prowl's in a funk, thinking that there is more he could have done and who will die because of what he hasn't done. Nightbeat doesn't have any answers for him on those, but he does have someone that Prowl might be interested in speaking with. Over in the now destroyed Aovian habitat, Hound is talking with the Aovian representative, Prateen. He expresses his sorrow at the amount of species that have been lost, and Prateen says that they've only got about 1/10 of the species left that were in the section before the debris came down and destroyed everything. And as Hound is apologizing again, Sideswipe interrupts him. Sideswipe has heard that Hound is putting together a combat group and he wants to be a part of it. However, Hound wants experience and he's already got enough on the team. Sideswipe wants to be useful, but he's already struck out with Nova Star and now Hound. Nightbeat brings Prowl over to interrogate Singe as Strongarm and Bumper are in the room looking on. Prowl is just a little bit pissed off, and he immediately goes right up to the line when asking Singe what he has to say. Later on, Strongarm is complaining to Bumper about how she feels cursed. She's been on 2 deployments so far, and she's been shot at both times. Over at the Acenticon headquarters, Chromia is being denied entry and nearby the Senate is surrounded by protesters. Sentinel Prime is visibly frustrated as he complains to Ironhide. However, Ironhide knows that the protesters aren't just Acenticons. They're Autobots, independents, and just other people. They all want something different, but they're all angry. Prowl and his team are getting ready to go after Swindle when Sideswipe shows up. His lack of experience means that he's stuck on the roof for this job, but he's on the team. Bumper is the one that's going into Swindle's, as he's the least recognizable, and the others are going to be ready to barge in. Inside, the room is crowded with people gambling on skidder races. As Truck Diamond announces the latest races and deals, Mindwipe approaches, looking for the energon that Swindle had promised him. He doesn't have it, thanks to one of his employees being captured, and Mindwipe goes nuts. Bumper notices Visper up in the area where Swindle is, and over the comms, he describes Mindwipe, who Nightbeat recognizes. Prowl orders Bumper to stay away from Mindwipe and to avoid looking into his eyes. However, in the confusion, as Prowl's busting through the door, Mindwipe gets behind Bumper and mesmerizes him to kill Prowl. Mindwipe then has Stormcloud, who's flying outside, jam the local communications, which he does, and then he bursts through the ceiling, making a hero landing. Outside, Sideswipe notices that comms are down, and he jumps through the hole that Stormcloud just made and disables him. As the security forces are cleaning up things, Bumper starts to go after Prowl. Prowl tosses his guns behind him and takes Bumper down easily. Mindwipe and Vesper have got away, but Sideswipe tosses Stormcloud down on the ground near the others, and Prowl's finally happy that they've got a live riser for once. Elsewhere, Six Shot is going to where Frenzy and Quake have been hiding, and he tells them that they're moving again. And that is Transformers number 20. So I thought this was fairly action-packed towards the end. I enjoyed reading it. The summary was kind of jumping around, but the actual story, I thought it read pretty good. Like, there was one page that just had like scenes from a bunch of different places, but other than that, I don't know, I thought it read fine. I like that things are finally happening. We're getting a little bit more world building with the whole like Swindle's gambling place, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought the art was good. I've been enjoying Anna Malkova's art, and I thought this was pretty good. I enjoyed it throughout. Yeah. So, Daryl, what'd you think of this?
I found it confusing. I found that the story seemed to bounce around a bit much, and perhaps it was the fact that it's been like 4 months since we've read issue 19, but I didn't seem to know what the hell was going on for most of the time.
Well, yeah, that was an issue.
Yeah, so I definitely knew that, Prowl and the gang were going after Swindles. I didn't quite understand why they were going to Swindles. Sure, there was a race thing there going on. This was illegal, apparently, and they were going in there to get after somebody, but now they see that Mindwipe is there, and now they want Mindwipe. So, yeah, for most part of the story, I didn't really know what the hell was happening. I was just kind of following along. I liked the part where Hound is kind of in charge. I mean, he's an army guy, sure, but Sideswipe is now this young buck, and he's trying to get himself onto the front lines, and he's got no experience. And so, he needs to pay his dues, and I appreciated that. I also liked the part where Strongarm said that when Sideswipe showed up, she's like, well, I'm definitely getting shot now. There's some kind of... I felt like it was a callback to the RID show from 2015, where Strongarm and Sideswipe were paired up, and they always kind of bumped heads because it was a very, very brother-sister dynamic, and they always argued. And
Was she in the issue with Sideswipe and Springer?
I don't remember. But I thought it was a fun little callback. Whether it was intentional or not, I thought that it was, I took it as a callback to that show. I found the book a little wordy. There was an awful lot of conversations going on. They're still picking up the pieces from the tower falling. The action at the end was okay. I didn't find it like amazing. The world building was okay. I like seeing Swindle. Swindle's just a fun character.
Mm-hmm.
His characterization really doesn't change from one series to another. He's always just this little bastard that's always in, he's the guy who can get you shit, but he's always going to want something for it, and you're never going to want to give him what he wants. I like the addition of the other Decepticons that are with Swindle here on kind of like his little like upper echelon of characters before Mindwipe shows up. I don't know whether we've seen them before. I definitely don't remember them. But what is it? Headlock, I think he calls one of them.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the heavy. And
the big heavy guy, yeah.
Track Diamond, who's the female.
Right. And she gives me a very Windblade-y look.
Mm-hmm. And then Visper.
Visper we know because there's a toy of it already. But and I don't get who the littler guy is, but anyway, so it's a fun little like group of people or group of bots that have a it's nice to introduce some new characters that are on the the questionable side. As far as the art goes, it's okay. Anna Malkova is definitely coming into her own on the art, and there's the one scene of the races itself, and there's an awful lot of bots in that picture. So I got to give it up to her for doing that to that page. Because I don't even want to try and count how many bots are on that page. There's a ton. So good for you for doing that one. The detail is getting there, and there's an awful lot of color. So I know that she's not doing her own coloring, but that's an awful lot of work on this book here. But yeah, the work on the art is getting there. It's getting better. Yeah, it's she's improving quite a bit. Yeah.
Charles, how about you? What do you think?
This felt like a police procedural kind of, which I don't have a problem with. I feel like it still suffers from kind of the middle chapter syndrome where it's it's hard to be a self-contained issue when you're right in the middle of a story arc. And yeah, I mean, coming back from a few months not checking in on the story, you have to kind of reset as what's going on, and that made it a little bit difficult to get back in the story. But I thought overall the issue was still, reasonably well done. I think Anna Malkova's art is pretty good. I enjoy the way she renders the bots. I think she adds a lot of personality to the facial expressions, and I think everything looks good. The story, I think we're finally getting closer to the Decepticons, so that's good. And you see how the cracks are starting to form and everything. I do like making Mindwipe kind of a difficult villain with his special powers, which he used to good effect with Bumper here. I liked putting just like the ensemble characters here: Nightbeat, Bumper, Strongarm, Prowl, and then Mindweep, Swindle. Yeah, Swindle is always a fun character to have, and having him be like an underground, running an underground gambling and fencing, place. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's just fine. It's okay. It's not exceptional, not amazing, but I think a solid issue. And I'm looking forward to things finally heating up with with getting real Autobots and Decepticons very soon, I hope.
Did you reread the previous issue or two?
I did not. I did not go back and do that. I probably should at some point, but I have not.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it would have made a difference because, like I said, I didn't know what the hell was happening most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember vaguely because the last issue was where Bumblebee was being targeted by the Decepticons since they had basically found out he was a double agent.
Mm-hmm.
Like he went into protective custody with Chromia. That was the last thing. So not a whole lot connects to this issue anyway.
Yeah. I do have another couple comments I forgot. I really did like Hound's characterization in that scene. Like, Hound has always been a favorite, and he's always been one of the more friendly characters. And here he's like, he knows all of the formal protocols for dealing with the species, and he's doing it, expressing his sorrow and stuff, and then Sideswipe just kind of interrupts. But I like how they have him characterized here, and I hope that carries on. The other thing is the title doesn't show up until like halfway through the book, and I don't know why. It really annoys me.
That was weird. That was very weird.
Yeah, I mean, because like I was trying to find the title to put in my notes here, and I'm like, is there even a title? And I go, like, usually it's either like the first page or the last page, and this was like page 9 or 10. I'm like, what's going on here? Just put it at the front of the book. That's where titles go. Anyway, that was my big complaint. But anyway, I'm looking forward to getting this back on track, and I do need to go back and read probably the entire arc just to kind of reset my mind on where everything is. But that is our review this week.
All right, and we will move on to Transformers Media News.
All right, in media news this week, Transformers War for Cybertron, that video game that came out, 10 years ago, is 10 years old. It's had a birthday this past week. June 22nd, 2010 is when it was released. So it turned 10 years old. If you still have that game and you still enjoy playing it, congratulations, you have a old video game. It's still good. I mean, I have it. I haven't played it in a long time. But, it's old.
I played a little bit.
This makes it officially retro.
Is that the timeline for a video game?
Yeah, 10 years old is officially retro for a video game.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I played it again a few months ago, and it's still fun.
Right on.
Fall of Cybertron's still better.
I would agree to that. Moving on. Transformers Rescue Bots Academy is coming to an end after 2 seasons. So I guess they're in season 2 right now, or after this season ends, it's done for. So this Rescue Bots Academy is a continuation of just Rescue Bots, and it kept mostly the same characters and just kind of moved them on into a bit of a school type situation. But they're going to be saying goodbye after 2 seasons and 104 episodes. So it's in syndication. So there you go. You can't complain about that. But yeah, so if you've got a young one out there, and this is something that they've been watching, they won't notice. Just keep playing the old episodes. They won't notice. But that's a shame. These shows don't go on. It won't be long before there's something else that comes up anyway. There's always a new Transformers cartoon going. Well,
and Entertainment One is now doing the TV stuff for the Transformers brand. So I'm sure we'll have something, beyond what the Netflix series is going to be.
Oh yeah. There'll be something new on the horizon. And lastly, episode 14 of Cyberverse has dropped on the Hasbro channel for YouTube. That's once again, as always, only for America, the United States of America. No one else. It's their own private YouTube channel. The rest of the world has seen these though, so suck it, America. And that's it for media news.
All right, let's finish up the show with convention news.
All right, TF Nation continues to add big names to their big broadcast of 2020. They've announced that Corey Burton is going to be there. Corey Burton he was Shockwave and Spike Witwicky in G1. He was also Shockwave in Animated, as well as Megatron. And he's just done a number of voices in other series throughout his career. He's a very, very... his IMDb list is long. So, very good get. I'm interested to hearing what he has to say. I don't know if I've ever seen him at a convention before. I know he's done a ton.
No, this is huge.
This is a really good get. Looking forward to checking out the big broadcast when they do it on August 15th.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.